Have you ever stopped to think that the people sitting beside you might be silently writing your future? Every voice you listen to, every mindset you share space with, it's either building you or breaking you. The truth is, you don't just live your own life, you live a reflection of the company you keep. So the question isn't who are your friends? The real question is who are you becoming because of them? Number one, your circle shapes your character. Your circle shapes your character in ways more powerful than you realize. The people you spend time with quietly shape the rhythm of your thoughts, the tone of your emotions, and the direction of your decisions. You may believe you're acting on your own free will, but every human spirit is influenced by the company it keeps. Think about it. When you spend your days around people who complain, you begin to see the world as a struggle. When you surround yourself with those who find solutions, your mind starts to look for opportunities. The heart is like soft clay. It takes the shape of the hands that touch it. Your environment, your conversations, and your companions are those shaping hands. Without you even noticing, their energy becomes your inner voice. If your circle is full of critics, you'll soon start to doubt your own worth. If your circle celebrates your smallest victories, you'll begin to see yourself as capable of greater ones. Character is not built overnight. It's built in the ordinary moments you share with ordinary people who either lift you higher or pull you lower. The truth is, no one remains unchanged by their surroundings. You either rise because of your circle or you sink with it. That's why it's so important to pause and reflect on who you allow into your personal space. Their attitude becomes your standard. Their mindset becomes your mirror, and their beliefs become the quiet background music of your daily life. When your circle is rooted in positivity, discipline, and faith, you'll find yourself growing in strength without even trying. The power of shared energy is real. It can heal or it can harm. A strong circle doesn't always agree with you, but it always reminds you of who you are when you forget. It challenges your excuses. It calls you out when you settle for less. And most importantly, it holds you accountable to the potential that lives within you. Being around people of good character doesn't mean they're perfect. It means they're progressing. Their progress inspires your own. Their consistency strengthens your will. But when you spend time in the wrong company, the opposite happens. You begin to tolerate negativity. You justify laziness, and you start believing that average is acceptable. The people who surround you will either water your growth or poison your spirit. Every friendship, every relationship is either a push toward purpose or a pull toward destruction. The human soul is deeply impressionable. It absorbs more than it rejects. That's why wisdom teaches us to choose companions carefully, not because we are better than others, but because we are protectors of our inner peace. The company you keep writes your character in invisible ink, shaping how you think, how you respond, and how you live. Your circle becomes your reflection long before it becomes your reality. That's why protecting your circle is not about isolation. It's about intention. It's about surrounding yourself with people whose light doesn't blind you with envy, but inspires you to shine with courage. When your circle is right, your spirit stays right. When your spirit stays right, everything else begins to fall into place. Number two, energy is contagious. Energy is contagious. Every word you hear, every expression you witness, and every attitude you absorb has the power to shape the atmosphere of your heart. People carry invisible fields of energy, the kind that can either lift a room or drain it completely. When you walk into a space filled with positivity, warmth, and gratitude, your spirit feels lighter without any explanation. But when you spend time around those who are bitter, angry, or hopeless, their energy clings to you like dust. Without even realizing it, you start mirroring their mood, matching their tone, and reflecting their vibration. That's how influence works, not through force, but through silent transmission. You don't always notice when it's happening, but soon your thoughts, emotions, and even your body language begin to echo the people you're surrounded by. Energy doesn't need permission to enter. It flows through connection. Every time you engage in conversation, you exchange emotional frequencies. When someone speaks faith into your fears, you start to feel capable again. When someone constantly complains, you start to lose sight of your blessings. The power of energy is subtle, but it's undeniable. You can't expect peace while walking beside chaos. You can't grow in faith while surrounded by doubt. You can't maintain joy when everyone around you is addicted to misery. Just like a single candle can light many others without losing its flame, one positive soul can illuminate an entire circle. But the reverse is also true. One negative presence can dim even the brightest spirit if you're not careful. That's why it's essential to protect your emotional space as fiercely as you protect your physical one. You wouldn't let someone throw garbage into your home, so why let someone dump their bitterness into your heart? Every time you listen to gossip, join in complaining, or entertain discouragement, you're allowing toxic energy to plant seeds in your mind. Over time, those seeds grow into habits of negativity, self-doubt, and fear. But when you surround yourself with people whose energy radiates kindness, faith, and confidence, those same qualities begin to flow through you effortlessly. Their calm becomes your calm, their belief becomes your belief, their light strengthens your own. People often underestimate how deeply they're affected by the company they keep. You might tell yourself you're strong enough to stay positive no matter who you're around, but human beings are emotional sponges. We absorb the moods of others because we are designed for connection. It's not weakness, it's nature. That's why self-awareness is power. You have to notice how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel lighter or heavier? Do you feel inspired or drained? These small signals are your soul's way of telling you who aligns with your purpose and who interrupts it. Energy is never neutral. It's either feeding your strength or fueling your weakness. When you begin to recognize this truth, you stop chasing popularity and start seeking peace. You learn to value quiet over chaos, encouragement over envy, and authenticity over attention. Because in the end, you don't just attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is constantly being shaped by the energy you allow to surround you. Number 3, choose growth over comfort. Choose growth over comfort, because comfort is a beautiful place that slowly destroys you if you stay there too long. Growth demands discomfort. It asks you to stretch beyond what feels easy, to walk into uncertainty, and to let go of what no longer serves your future. Most people want progress, but they don't want the process. They want success without struggle, change without challenge, and freedom without fear. But life doesn't work that way. Every meaningful transformation requires a breaking point, a moment when you must decide whether to stay where you are or step into something greater. Growth is uncomfortable because it pulls you away from what's familiar, and the human heart naturally clings to familiarity, even when it's limiting. Yet the truth remains, nothing grows in comfort. Not your mind, not your spirit, not your purpose. Comfort convinces you that you're safe, but often it only keeps you small. It tells you to stay where it's predictable, to repeat old routines, and to surround yourself with people who never challenge your thinking. But if you listen closely, your soul will whisper for more meaning, more courage, more depth. That whisper is growth calling you out of the ordinary. It's the voice that says, you're made for something bigger. Growth never shouts, it invites. It quietly stirs your spirit until you can no longer ignore the truth that you're capable of more than you're currently living. And once you accept that invitation, life begins to unfold in extraordinary ways. Choosing growth means embracing discomfort as a teacher rather than fearing it as an enemy. It means walking into rooms where you don't have all the answers and being humble enough to learn. It means leaving behind circles that keep you complacent and surrounding yourself with people who demand your best. Growth will ask you to give up the approval of those who prefer the old version of you. It will ask you to endure seasons of solitude where you question whether it's all worth it. But it's in those quiet, lonely moments that your true self begins to rise. Growth doesn't happen in crowds. It happens in courage. Every time you push past fear, you expand your capacity to live with purpose. Comfort, on the other hand, seduces you with ease. It makes you believe that peace means the absence of challenge. But real peace is found in knowing you are evolving, not in pretending everything is fine. The longer you stay in comfort, the more it dulls your drive. You stop dreaming big because big dreams require big risks. You stop learning because learning exposes how little you know. And eventually, you settle, not because you've reached your limit, but because you've stopped testing it. Growth is not meant to be graceful. It's meant to be real. It comes with tears, doubts, and discomfort, but it also brings strength, clarity, and transformation. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you choose life over limitation. Number 4, distance isn't disrespect. Distance isn't disrespect. It's a declaration that your peace matters more than constant proximity. There comes a time in life when you must learn that stepping back from certain people isn't an act of arrogance. It's an act of awareness. It's realizing that your energy, your focus, and your mental health are sacred spaces, and not everyone deserves unlimited access to them. People often misunderstand distance as rejection, but it's not about pushing others away. It's about protecting what's within. When you distance yourself, you're not saying, "I'm better than you." You're saying, "I'm becoming better for myself." You begin to see that not every connection requires constant contact, and not every relationship is meant to be lifelong. Some people are lessons, not lifelong companions, and knowing the difference is wisdom, not pride. Distance allows you to breathe again. It gives you space to think, to heal, and to realign with your values. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, it's hard to hear your own voice. Emotional clutter is just as real as physical clutter. It keeps you busy, distracted, and drained. Taking a step back from people who consistently drain your peace isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You start realizing that love doesn't mean tolerating chaos, and loyalty doesn't mean accepting disrespect. You can forgive someone and still choose to love them from afar. True maturity is learning to maintain kindness while creating boundaries. It's saying, "I care for you, but I also care for my well-being." Distance helps you see relationships for what they are without the emotional fog of constant involvement. There's a unique strength in walking away quietly. You don't owe anyone dramatic explanations when your spirit feels heavy in their presence. Sometimes silence is the only answer that makes sense. You simply begin to outgrow certain conversations, environments, and patterns. That's not a loss, it's evolution. People who are meant to grow with you will understand your silence. Those who aren't will take it personally, but that's not your burden to carry. When you choose distance, you're choosing peace over approval. You're choosing growth over guilt. You're choosing to stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you've already outgrown. The right people will never make you feel guilty for protecting your energy. They'll respect it because they understand the importance of it. Distance doesn't mean detachment, it means discernment. It means you can wish someone well and still walk your own path. It means you can let go without bitterness and remember without pain. The world often confuses boundaries with hostility, but boundaries are what keep love pure and energy balanced. Without them, even the best intentions can turn toxic. You don't need to explain your distance to anyone who truly values your peace. They'll see it as strength, not spite. The truth is, sometimes love needs space to breathe. Sometimes connection requires separation to stay healthy. Distance isn't a wall, it's a doorway, one that leads you back to yourself. It's in that sacred space of separation that you rediscover your worth, rebuild your focus, and remember that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. Number 5, upgrade your circle. Upgrade your life. Upgrade your circle. Upgrade your life. The people you surround yourself with are not just part of your environment, they are part of your destiny. Every conversation you entertain, every mindset you absorb, and every belief you witness has the power to shift the direction of your life. When you begin to surround yourself with people who think higher, live with integrity, and move with purpose, something inside you starts to awaken. You begin to expect more from yourself. You begin to dream bolder, act faster, and believe deeper. The right circle won't let you stay comfortable in mediocrity. They'll challenge your excuses and remind you of who you are meant to be. It's not about using people to climb. It's about aligning yourself with those who elevate your spirit, not those who drain it. Your circle is the mirror of your future. If everyone around you is content with average, your goals will shrink to fit that environment. But if you're surrounded by visionaries who talk about ideas, growth, and purpose, your own life begins to expand. Energy attracts energy. If you spend your time around people who radiate strength, gratitude, and resilience, you start to mirror those same traits. Upgrading your circle doesn't mean abandoning your old friends. It means being intentional about who influences your mind. You can love people and still limit their access to your inner world. You can wish them well while recognizing that their energy no longer matches your direction. Growth requires pruning, removing what no longer serves you so that something better can grow. There comes a point when you realize that the company you keep determines the speed of your progress. If you're walking with those who constantly complain, doubt, or settle, your own faith begins to weaken. But when your circle is filled with people who take responsibility, speak vision, and walk with courage, you can't help but level up. Their presence pulls you higher, their habits become your habits, and their optimism rubs off on you in ways you can't explain. You find yourself speaking differently, thinking differently, and showing up differently. Your environment becomes a silent coach. It teaches you even when no words are spoken. That's the power of association. It shapes your identity from the inside out. Upgrading your circle is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's about realizing that where you want to go requires different conversations, different mindsets, and different energy. You can't expect transformation while staying surrounded by stagnation. You can't rise when everyone around you is comfortable sitting still. The people in your life should push you toward your potential, not pull you back to your past. Your dreams deserve a circle that believes in them as fiercely as you do. When you walk with those who challenge you to grow, your confidence deepens. When you sit with those who inspire you to think big, your vision sharpens. And when you surround yourself with people who live with faith and intention, your life naturally begins to reflect that same energy. Because the truth is simple, the quality of your circle will always determine the quality of your life. So as you leave today, take a quiet moment to look around your life. Not with judgment, but with honesty. Who speaks into your heart daily? Who fuels your vision? And who silently drains it? Because your future is being shaped right now by the voices you allow near your soul. You don't have to cut people off with anger. You simply need to rise with intention. Choose growth, choose peace, and choose people who remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. Remember, your life doesn't change by chance. It changes by the company you keep. Upgrade your circle and watch your world transform.